The story of House Targaryen begins far from Westeros, in the ancient and powerful civilization of Valyria. Situated on the eastern continent of Essos, Valyria was the heart of a vast empire, known for its unmatched mastery of dragons and sorcery. The Valyrians were dragon lords, their power stemming from their ability to bond with and ride dragons, creatures of fire and fury. For centuries, Valyria was the center of the known world, a place of immense wealth, knowledge, and power. House Targaryen was one of many noble families in Valyria, but it was not the most powerful. In fact, among the dragon lords of Valyria, the Targaryens were considered minor and less influential. However, they possessed something that would prove invaluable: foresight. 12 years before the doom of Valyria, a catastrophic event that would obliterate the Valyrian freehold, Rhaenys Targaryen, known as Rhaenys the Dreamer, had a prophetic vision of Valyria's destruction. Acting on Rhaenys's vision, the head of the house, Lord Aegon Targaryen, made a bold decision. He relocated his entire family, along with their dragons, to the distant island of Dragonstone, far to the west, at the edge of the known world. While other dragon lords dismissed Rhaenys's warnings, House Targaryen abandoned Valyria just in time. In the year 102 BC, Rhaenys's prophecy came true. The doom of Valyria struck suddenly and without mercy. The empire of Valyria, with all its dragons, wealth, and power, was shattered in a single day. The earth itself was said to have split open, fire and ash consuming the land, and the once great Valyrian civilization was reduced to ruins. Most of the dragon lords perished in the catastrophe, and with them, their knowledge and power were lost to history. But House Targaryen, safely ensconced on Dragonstone, survived. They were the last known dragon lords in the world, possessing the only surviving dragons from Valyria. This survival was not just by chance, but by the calculated decision of Rhaenys, the Dreamer, and her father, Aegon. For nearly a century, the Targaryens remained on Dragonstone, far from the politics and wars of Westeros. They were rulers of a single island, but with the blood of old Valyria still strong in their veins and dragons at their command, they were unlike any other lords in the world. The Targaryens watched the continent of Westeros from afar, biding their time, until the rise of a new leader, Aegon Targaryen. It was Aegon, with his sister wives Visenya and Rhaenys, who would finally look westward and decide that the time had come to forge a new empire, not in the ashes of Valyria, but in the 7 kingdoms of Westeros. In the year Seku BC, before Conquest, Westeros was a fractured land, divided among 7 powerful kingdoms, each ruled by a different house. The 7 kingdoms were embroiled in constant warfare, and the idea of a unified realm seemed an impossible dream. But across the narrow sea, in the ancient and formidable stronghold of Dragonstone, a new power was rising. Aegon Targaryen, a lord of Valyrian descent, along with his sisters Visenya and Rhaenys, would soon embark on a campaign that would forever change the course of history. Aegon's decision to conquer Westeros wasn't merely a thirst for power. He was a ruler who understood the value of unity in a land fractured by endless wars. Some say that Aegon was inspired by a vision of a great threat from the north, while others believe it was his desire to restore the glory of old Valyria in a new land. But whatever his motivations, Aegon was determined to forge a new world, and he had the tools to do so. Dragons. At the heart of Aegon's strength were his dragons. The 3 Targaryen dragons, Balerion, the Black Dread, Vhagar, and Meraxes, were more than mere beasts. They were weapons of mass destruction. Balerion, the largest and most fearsome, had wings so vast that entire towns could be cast in shadow as he flew overhead. With these creatures at his command, Aegon had an advantage that no other ruler in Westeros could hope to match. In 1st AC, After Conquest, Aegon and his sisters landed on the eastern coast of Westeros at the mouth of the Blackwater Rush, where he established the first seat of Targaryen power, Aegon Fort. This location would later become the site of the Iron Throne and the great city of King's Landing. It was here that Aegon first declared his intentions, sending ravens across the Seven Kingdoms, demanding fealty and submission. Aegon's first major test came at Harrenhal, the largest and most formidable castle in Westeros, ruled by Harren the Black. Harren, confident in the strength of his walls, scoffed at Aegon's demand for surrender, but Aegon unleashed Balerion upon Harrenhal, and the castle, thought to be impenetrable, melted under the dragon's fire, reducing Harren and his line to ash. With Harrenhal as an example, Aegon turned his attention south to the Reach, where the combined armies of the Reach and the Stormlands awaited him. This battle, known as the Field of Fire, would be the only instance where all three Targaryen dragons fought together. Against the combined might of Aegon's dragons and his army, the forces of the Reach and the Stormlands were obliterated, and their rulers, House Gardner and House Durrandon, were extinguished. House Gardner was entirely wiped out, while House Durrandon bent the knee, their lands given to House Tyrell and House Baratheon, respectively. As Aegon's conquest continued, word of his unstoppable force reached the north. Torrhen Stark, the king in the north, marched south with his bannermen to face Aegon. But when Torrhen saw Aegon's forces and the devastation wrought by the dragons, he chose peace over war. Rather than risk the annihilation of his people, Torrhen bent the knee, earning the title, the King Who Knelt. In return, Aegon allowed the Starks to retain their lands and titles as wardens of the North. The last significant resistance to Aegon's rule came from Oldtown, the seat of the Faith of the Seven and one of the richest cities in Westeros. However, when Aegon's army approached, the High Septon had a vision from the gods that Aegon was the rightful ruler. The gates of Oldtown were opened, and the city surrendered without bloodshed. On the steps of the Starry Sept, the High Septon anointed Aegon with the 7 oils, crowning him Aegon of House Targaryen, first of his name, King of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men, Lord of the 7 Kingdoms, and Protector of the realm. Though Dorne remained unconquered for many years, Aegon's conquest marked the beginning of a new era for Westeros. The 7 Kingdoms were united under one ruler, the Iron Throne was forged, and the Targaryen dynasty was established. For nearly 3 centuries, the descendants of Aegon the Conqueror would rule Westeros, with the memory of the dragon's fire etched into the land and its people. Aegon's legacy lived on, not just through his bloodline, but through the very foundations of the realm he built. The story of Aegon's conquest is more than just a tale of dragons and warfare. It's a story of vision, ambition, and the relentless pursuit of power. Aegon's dream of a unified Westeros was not only realized through fire and blood, but also through the careful balance of strength and diplomacy. It was a conquest that shaped the future of a continent and left an indelible mark on the history of Westeros.